Okay, we should be on. Are you ready, Ms. Shelton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll call the first case. This is the Child Protective Docket for today. Cause number CCL 21C158 in the interest of a child. And I'll ask the parties in that case to identify themselves for the record at this time.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Paige Blackman, attorney for the child.
Patricia Smith Wicasa.
And I
Stevie
understand,
Willis with Child Protective Services.
Rose Chumley, program director for CVS. I'm supervising this case.
all right. And I understand Ms. Moore is there in the district attorney's office with Ms. Shelton because she was unable to get online on Zoom. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Moore, can you hear me and see me okay? I'm Judge Dowd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, do we have everyone identified then?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who is there a father involved in this case?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moore, this is what's called a full adversary 14-day hearing. There are a couple of, the law calls them admonitions or explanations I have to give to you about this hearing, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, first of all, do you understand that under the law, if you are found eventually to be unable or unwilling to give your child or children a safe home environment, that could eventually result in a termination of your parental rights, although that is certainly not the goal today. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also understand that you're entitled to be represented by a lawyer. If you are found by the court to be indigent and unable to afford a lawyer and you did not agree with what the department was proposing, then the court could consider your application for a court-appointed lawyer. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Shelton has advised me that she believes that you're in agreement with their proposal today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. If there comes a time, these cases usually last for some period of time. I have to review them every so often. If there comes a time when you are no longer in agreement with the department's plan, you can still ask for a lawyer at that time. Do you understand? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. All right, Ms. Shelton, you may proceed.
Your Honor, at this time, we're asking that the department remain as temporary managing conservator of the child Colton Moore. We're asking that the placement be maintained with Keith and Stephanie Duncan. Ms. Moore advises that she does not wish to work services at this time, but she would like to have services put in place in the event she does decide to work services. So we're going to ask that she submit to random drug testing, submit to an EDCATA evaluation, participate in counseling, and a psychological and parenting. If she changes her mind at some point in time and decides to sign a relinquishment, she'll go ahead and do that, but she hasn't decided. She wants some more time to think about it before she decides to do that. And I said until she works services, we'll not be offering any visitation.
Okay. Ms. Moore, did you hear what the department's proposal is as stated on the record by Ms. Shelton? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that your agreement today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you understand that if the court puts in what's called a parenting plan or a service plan, and you fail to follow that could result in a termination of your parental rights down the line? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Ms. Blackman.
Yes, sir. I don't have any objections to what the department is asking to do. I am also in agreement.
Okay, Costa?
I'm in agreement as well, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then, based on that agreement, I will order the proposed parenting plan to be put into place for Ms. Moore. Appoint the department as temporary managing conservator, or continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the child. And approve the current placement. Is that placement a relative placement?
It is a foster slash fictive kin, and then the siblings are there.
Okay. And I need a review date, I think in 60 days.
I think it has to be June the 4th.
June 4th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see, is that a Friday?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and set that, but I may have to change it. I've got something that may be going on that day. Or I could go ahead and set it for the following Friday.
Judge, that's our regular docket day, so if we're gonna, we'll have several we'll need to change if we're gonna change it.
Okay. I'll just have to take a look and see. For now, I'll order it set for June 4
Okay,
at 9 o'clock.
May Ms. Moore be excused, Your Honor?
Ms. Moore is excused.
Thank you. I'll show you how to get out.
Your Honor, I think that's all I have before the court today. May I also be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
and I think that is all for Stevie. Yes, and Miss Rose and Sherelle,
Okay, you guys stand.
unless Rose wants to stay on.
You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but if not, then you're free to sign off at this time.
Thank you.
And the next case is CCL 21C 171, the interest of children. And that's also a full adversary hearing. Who will I need to bring in out of the waiting room?
Rosalind Arnick.
Well, hang on, Judge. That's the one Gary's on, and he's
Oh, is
in Judge Miller's court right now.
Oh,
Okay, and I think Cynthia said she was going to stand in for Mr. Vershaw because he's in the case. How about 199? Is everyone here that needs to be here on that?
Well, maybe.
Morgan and Morgan.
It should be Angela Polk. Tanya Baker.
Polk. Baker T, that would be her.
Yes, sir. And I think that's all, right, Courtney? Oh, Jessica Attaway.
Was Jessica Harry there? Is that her?
No, that is a supervisor for AR. She would be on the Murphy case.
No, I'm seeing ARNICR.
That's the Murphy case.
Vanessa Davis, Shelby Hudson, Ismail Dara.
Shelby Hudson is the worker that's gonna get this case, so you can put her on.
All right.
Ishmael is on the Murphy case. Who else did you say?
Jessica Harry,
She's on the Murphy case.
Cassie Morgan.
Kathy
She's
Morgan will need to
Mom
be
on this case. Courtney, do you want me to text Jessica or call Jessica?
Yeah, because dad hasn't been served. I don't know if mom's in agreement. I mean, I assume she is, but
Okay.
I don't see her on there. There is a Zoom user, but I don't know who that is.
She said she's gonna call in, and I don't know, Angela, have you talked with mom to know if she's in agreement with us having custody and the kids working services?
I don't know if she
Tanya,
heard you.
Tanya, do you know?
I don't think anybody knows you're talking to them.
Hey, April, say that one more time.
I said, has anybody discussed with mother? She's on and they're gonna pull her in a minute. But has anybody discussed with her if she's in agreement to us having custody and working services?
Angela is on. Let me,
Yeah, I asked her, but I don't guess she heard
she didn't
me.
answer.
I mean, I guess we can call mom in and ask her. Jessica Attaway said she was gonna be she's calling in now.
Okay. She said Jessica asked her. Just a second. Oh, yes.
Judge, on this case, Nathan Morgan has not been served. Cassie Morgan has been served. Cassie is the parent that you gave the right to designate the primary residence.
I recall the case.
I was hoping you would. So I didn't know if we needed both of them served or if you were just more concerned about Cassie Morgan being served.
I think he was living in Arkansas, was he not?
That, I don't know. The address they tried to serve him at was a Texas address.
My recollection, I don't remember if it was Texas. It was Texarkana. I don't remember if it was the Texas side or the Arkansas side in the civil case.
When I went and looked up on the clerk side for the address they tried to serve the final decree of divorce, or the final, I guess it was the final decree of divorce, it came back to the clerk's office. So whatever address that they had for him came back.
Okay. I think going ahead, there needs to be some orders in place. And she has, I assume she still has primary managing conservatorship
She does.
under my previous order.
They were appointed joint managing conservators, but she had the right to designate the primary residence.
Okay.
But Courtney, weren't the kids through FBSS placed with dad? Oh, I
No,
thought
they
that,
had a full custody hearing in front of Judge Dowd in February. Randy represented.
I have knowledge of that when mom has custody. Dad had endangered the child in Texarkana, and one of the children was walking down, I think it was Summer Hill Road, unescorted.
but the injury that led to this removal was at dad's, right? Because they were with dad.
Are you talking about the spanking?
No, where he fell off the hoverboard.
Yeah, whatever it was. We don't really know what led to the injury, but yes, this happened at Dad's house. But the kids are with Dad every other weekend.
Oh, okay. I misread then.
Well, I guess if the injury or alleged injury occurred, probably should get him in here. He shouldn't be that hard to find.
I think he works at, I'm doing this from memory, but for that warehouse place in Nash. I'm not involved in this case, but I remember him from before. And I'm sure the judge remembers that case.
I do.
I believe it.
Michaela can probably tell you where she tried to get him served at. And Jessica Attaway said she's in the waiting room now.
Okay.
I bet Miss Morgan can tell us where he lives.
There she is. Well, I know I have the authority under the family code to go ahead and enter temporary orders in an emergency situation.
Well, we did this as a non-emergency removal.
Oh, it was?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and admit Ms. Morgan and see where she stands in this case. Does anyone know who the Zoom user is that's showing up in the waiting room?
I don't, Judge. It may be the jail.
Oh, is that in the Murphy case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Morgan, can you hear and see us okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We're discussing the fact that apparently the department has not been able to serve Mr. Travis Morgan. Do you know his whereabouts?
Nathan Morgan?
Yes.
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to discuss the department's proposal in this case with anyone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you in agreement or disagreement, or do you know?
Disagreement.
Okay.
And Your Honor, before you go any further, Ms. Attaway texted and said that Dad called this morning and asked for the Zoom link, so he may be that Zoom user.
He says he is on right now in the waiting room.
It must be the
Just
Zoom
text me.
user. Okay. Let me let him in. I thought that might be him if he had knowledge of the hearing. It's Nathan, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. He's trying to connect. Mr. Morgan, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Good. Can you turn your camera on, please? Mr. Morgan, do you know how to turn on your camera? Mr. Morgan, can you still hear me? There you go. Can you hear me now, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very good. All right, I also have Mrs. Morgan on the line. Can you see her? Can you hear me, Mr. Morgan?
Sounds like it's really muffled.
My question was, can you see
There we go.
Evelyn Morgan?
I see Evelyn.
No, Cassie, Judge.
Cassie Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, this is cause number CCL 21C199. It's regarding the interest of the child or children. And I need to tell both of you a couple of things. This is what's called a full adversary 14-day hearing. First of all, do each of you understand that if you are unable or unwilling to furnish your child or children with a safe home environment, that could eventually result in a termination of your parental rights in this case? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Morgan, do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, that's not the goal today. As I understand it, the goal is the department is asking for temporary managing conservatorship of the child. Each of you have a right to be represented by an attorney in this case. Are either one of you currently represented by an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
If you are unable or unwilling to, rather, if you are unable to afford an attorney and you were not in agreement with what the department was proposing, then the court could appoint you an attorney if the court found you to be indigent. Do you understand that?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, just ask Ms. Morgan if she knows what the proposal of the department is today. And she's just told me that she knows what it is and does not agree with it. Is that correct, Ms. Morgan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Morgan, where do you stand on that? Do you know what they're proposing regarding you and whether you agree with it or not?
No, I don't entirely know what's being proposed.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask Ms. Shelton to state what they're proposing. I want you to listen carefully.
Okay.
And then at the end, I want you to tell me whether you agree or disagree. All right?
Your Honor, we're asking the department be appointed temporary managing conservator of all 4 children, and that the parents be asked to work services, including parenting, counseling, drug testing, random drug testing at the request of the department, an EDCATA evaluation, and psychological evaluations. And that visitation be 2 hours per week supervised by the department.
Okay, did you hear that, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I do.
Are you in agreement or disagreement?
I would disagree.
Okay. Do either one of you plan on hiring your own attorney in this case?
I can't afford it, Your Honor.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I eventually will.
So you're going to hire your own lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, eventually you're not going to have a lot of time to do that. I'm going to reset this case because it's contested and you're entitled to have a lawyer, but I can't put the case off for very long because it needs to be heard. So you think you're going to be able to hire an attorney, let's say in 2 weeks? Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Morgan, what about you?
I can't afford to hire one, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Lee, did you represent her or were you on the other side of that case?
I represent Miss Morgan.
That's what I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and appoint you to represent her in this case.
Just so the court knows, I have vacation letters filed for the week of the June 7th and the 14th. So if we have a hearing, I'd like it before or after that, those dates.
Okay. Well, I was gonna set it on that regular date, which I think is the 4th.
That'll be fine. I'll be there.
Is that the right date?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The hearing is reset for June 4 at 9:00 a.m. I've appointed Mr. Lee to represent Mrs. Morgan. Mr. Morgan has told the court he will retain his own counsel for that date. Mr. Morgan, you understand that if you are not able to hire a lawyer, you don't bring one with you on that date, I'm still going to go ahead with this case. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, I will continue the existing ex parte orders that the court has previously entered.
There are no ex parte orders in this case, Judge.
There aren't any?
No, sir.
Where are the children?
They're placed with Miss Morgan still.
Okay. Don't need any today then?
Not that I'm aware of. If I'm made aware of any, we will present a new petition to the court with a supplemental affidavit.
Okay.
I'll get with Miss Attaway.
All right. All right, then the case is set for reset for our contested hearing, June 4 at 9 a.m. Parties to this case are excused. Ms. Morgan, you may sign off. Mr. Morgan, you may sign off.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, we still don't have Mr. Alverson, do we?
He's here, Judge. He's in my office now.
Okay.
And I think, Your Honor, that's all for Angela. Tanya, you're not on Murphy, so that's all for you too, right? So they can sign off, and then there should be Rosalind Arnick, and I don't know if Jill's in the waiting room. I think that's all for Shelby too, so Shelby can sign off.
Ms. Black is in the waiting room. I'll let her in. Who else?
Rosalind Arnick, or I think it said Arnick R or something like that.
Right, I see that.
What did you have in
I
there?
still have several people there. Vanessa Davis.
That's the mother for this case.
Okay, I'll let her in. Ismail Dara.
That's one of the alleged fathers. I filed a non-suit for him because he provided DNA, and something happened in the clerk's office where they rejected it, saying that I asked for it to be rejected, even though I didn't. And so Miss Kathy was following up on that with Tara when she got back after lunch. But I'm sure he called in because he was served, and so he knew court was going on. But he has presented DNA. Courtney signed the motion, and I filed the order to non-suit him.
Okay, well, I'll let him in. We can tell him that. Jessica Harry.
She's on
That's, yeah, that's Rosalind's supervisor.
And Patricia's S21.
I don't know who that is.
What was the name, Judge?
Patricia S21.
Patricia Smith, maybe? Oh, no, she's already on here. I don't know.
Well, let's see who she is. Or he is. That's everyone.
That may be from the Jail, I don't know. They're supposed to be on here.
The person who's on Patricia's S21, can you tell us who you are, please? They appear to be connected.
There it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I thought my mic was set up, but it wasn't set up properly apparently. My name is Ishmael Diarra. Well, I was supposed to be with the Murphy case. I don't know if I'm in the correct room.
You are. I've just let you in, Mr. DR. I'm Judge Dowd. I do need to turn on your
The mic.
video,
Yes. Okay. I got you.
if you can do that.
Yes. Can you see me now?
I can. You're just fine. Just
All right.
we're still trying to get everyone here
No problem.
online. So
No problem.
just hang loose.
Okay.
Let's see. Still haven't heard from Patricia's S21.
Do you want me to call over to the jail and see if that's them?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a face there for a minute.
Okay, they said they had him in there and they were waiting on the Zoom link to pop up and then it never did, so they left, but she's gonna get him in there now and I gave her the Zoom link. She's apparently new and didn't know what was going on, so.
Do you know who S21 is? Because
I do not. She did not know who that was.
I saw a face just for a few seconds and then it went away, so. Who is it that's in the jail?
Anthony Murphy, he's the father to Jamaica.
Thank you. Your Honor, if you want, while we're waiting on Anthony, you can go ahead and tell Mr. Mr. Ishmael about the order and such, so he can get off.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Diarra, can you hear and see me okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm Judge Dowd. The Department of Family Protective Services has filed a motion dismissing you from this case. I haven't received the order yet, but when I receive it,
Okay.
I will sign it. I'm given to understand that you've been eliminated by the department as the possible father
Thank you.
in this case. So
Okay.
you're free to sign off.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And you can get a copy of the order from the clerk.
Where would I get that? The clerk, is it the same?
District clerk.
District clerk. Okay.
Right.
Your Honor, I will mail him one. I usually mail one to all the parties when I get him back, so I'll mail him one.
Okay. That'll work.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Are they going to show up as the jail, or do you know how they will?
They usually do. I think it usually says Cass County Jail, but you never know.
I'm pretty close to going back to in-person hearings on.
That would be great.
I'm real close to that, like real close.
Like real close.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Cindy has actually talked to him this morning, so.
Okay.
Yes, I talked to him and I've conveyed his agreement to Courtney.
Your Honor, just make sure and let us know at least 2 weeks ahead of time when you change your mind to go back to in-person so that our notices are correct.
Probably be in July,
Okay,
what I'm thinking.
okay.
Most likely in July. Now, as I recall, at the last hearing, I appointed, I believe, Mr. Lee to represent Ms. Murphy. Is that correct? I mean, Ms. Davis. Is that correct, Mr. Lee?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I appointed
Ms.
Mr.
Mervis, yeah, Murphy.
Mr. Verscholl to represent Mr. Murphy. And Ms. Hammond is standing in for him today because, for the record, he's been in an automobile accident.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See if someone signed on. Not showing anyone else.
I mean, I'm okay with going ahead. It's up to Cindy, I guess.
And Your Honor, I would
guess
be
it's up
okay
to
with
you,
going ahead.
Judge, but
What was that?
I would be okay with going ahead.
With you? Okay. All right, then, this is cause number CCL 21C171, interest of children. And I'll ask for identification of the parties.
Courtney Shelton, attorney for the department.
Gary Albertson ad litem for the children.
Randall Lee, attorney for Vanessa Murphy, the mother.
Cyndia Hammond, standing in for Jim Verscholl, attorney for the father.
Patricia Smith Wicasa.
And Ms. Davis is online. I can see. Ms. Davis, can you see us and hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see and hear your lawyer, Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Shelton, you may proceed.
Your Honor, the department is requesting to remain temporary managing conservator of the children, and that Ms. Murphy be required to complete an EDCOTA evaluation, drug testing, counseling, parenting, a psychological, and then trauma training through For the Sake of One. She has, right now, the children are in foster care. So we are asking for 2 hours per week supervised by the department. Her bond conditions don't allow her to have visitation with Fanta, I believe that's correct. So we are going to, Mr. Lee is going to file an agreed order to modify her bond in the criminal case to comply with the CPS order so that she can have visitation with both children as this case goes along. She has requested a home study on Georgia Dickerson, I believe, who is an aunt, which I'm assuming that name has been given to the department. Mr. Lee conveyed that name to me this morning, and that we'll be working on that. As for Mr. Murphy, we do not have any services set up for him yet, obviously, because he's in jail. If he gets out of jail, we will consider working some services, possibly. But because of his criminal case right now, I don't see that happening. We are going to look at his childcare resources, or the resources for him, and see if there is possible family that we could place his child or the children with. And at this time, we would just ask to continue placement in foster care.
Mr. Lee?
I've talked with my client and we are in agreement with this. She intends to work services.
Ms. Hammond?
And Your Honor, Mr. Murphy is also in agreement. His main concern is he would like the children to be placed with family instead of in foster care. And I explained to him that process this morning, and so he's in agreement.
Okay. So there are names that have been supplied to the department on both sides of the family for possible relative placement. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are there steps being taken to do home studies on those?
I don't know if those names have been submitted yet, but if not, they will be getting submitted.
Okay. And home studies then will take place at that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then, based on that agreement and the fact that both parties are represented by counsel at this point, I will appoint the department as temporary managing conservator. I will allow 2 hours supervised visitation for Ms. Davis for all of the children. However, as to the child named Fanta, that visitation is suspended until such time as her bond conditions have been changed to allow for that, so that she's not in violation of her bond. And it's my understanding that the state's not opposing that motion.
That's correct.
And the proposed family service plan for Ms. Davis is adopted by the court as stated on the record. The court takes notice that, well, first of all, for the record, Mr. Verschall is unable to appear today because he was in an automobile wreck last week and is still in the hospital as far as I know. However, the record will reflect that Ms. Cynthia Hammond has appeared in his place by agreement, and that she has consulted with her client and he's in agreement with these orders. I'm not ordering any visitation for him at this time because he is currently incarcerated and as far as the court knows, has no immediate opportunity to be released. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
Anything-
Your Honor,
Yeah.
since we are unsure on how long Mr. Verscholl is going to be out, I do intend to cover this case for him until he becomes available. It may be beneficial for him to add me to service such time as he can return to practice. I know that it's going to be at least for several weeks that he's going to be out. And there's probably a few meetings and things that will happen prior to that time of him returning.
I think that's an excellent suggestion. So I'll add, substitute you as counsel until such time as Mr. Verschall is able to take on that responsibility from a standpoint of health and safety on his part. Let's add that to the order, Ms. Hill. Okay, anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then the parties in this case are excused.
Thank you.
I believe that's all we have this morning. Is that correct?
Your Honor, just for the record, June 4th, because we already had TMC, so June 4th for this case.
June 4th. Okay. I'll make a note of that.
Sir, I had one comment to add real quick, if I may.
Yes, ma'am. As long as it's okay with your lawyer. Go ahead.
Yes, at the last court hearing, the CPS worker said that she would like me to complete services, which included parenting classes, psychological testing, counseling, and I want to say, I think she mentioned post-sexual assault trauma training classes for when my child comes home. But she did mention that I don't have any substance abuse issues. But I noticed today she mentioned that I'd be needing to submit drug testing as well. I'm just wondering why would that be necessary? I mean, I can pass any drug test with flying colors, but I don't have any substance abuse issues. So I don't see why.
I'm gonna have you refer that question to Mr. Lee and he can find out for you and let you know. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lee, if you'll check on that.
I'll do that.
Get back to your client. All right.
I will.
All right, then the parties to this case are excused and the court's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.